this madness in the name of your king!
The long night is coming, and the dead come with it. No clan can stop them. The free folk can't stop them. The Night's Watch can't stop them, and all the Southern Kings can't stop them. Only together. All of us. And even then it may not be enough, but at least we'll give the fuckers a fight.
Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long night. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Direwolf City, where we go through and talk about all the Winds of Winter juice that is coming up. So, Ara will be here in a minute. We were going to wait for her, but she'll be here in a minute. We wanted to get started. Just off the jump, let me just thank you, Vanessa Bogarrett, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. So today we're going to be talking about the spider, Varys. You guys already know like how I feel about Varys. I feel like I hate him. I despise him. I think he's a piece of shit. How do you feel about Varys, Alicia?
It's the tittering for me. I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about him one way or another. Like, obviously, like I do enjoy reading him on page, but in the same breath, every time he comes on page, I'm like, this bitch.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about you, Mandy?
I mean, there's not much you can say about someone who cuts the tongues out of children's faces. So I don't care for him as a person, but I don't think that his plotting is necessarily evil or malicious. I think that he has good intentions, but that he is one of those like by any means necessary kind of characters that is like, you gotta break some eggs to make an omelet, you know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't track for me as someone who was hurt as a child, that he could turn around and hurt another child. Like, he was castrated by the wizard as a kid, and then he turns around and cuts kids' tongues out. That to me is just like, it doesn't track.
Well, yeah, what makes him better than Euron?
Right.
Thank you for the super chat, Wisdom Minari. Wisdom Minari says, yo, I'm here. Also, I've seen in the chat, Ara is in the chat. She says, I like him because I love chaos. Now, as a character, I think he adds a lot to the plot, a lot to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think, like, he's a terrible fucking person. And, like, even if we say that he's going to do some shit like he did in season 8 of Game of Thrones, like, where he's like, yeah, fuck Dany, I'm going to go work with Jon. Like, that's raggedy. But we know, like, that's not the case. But still, that was, like, really cutthroat. And I feel like he is a cutthroat person. And I feel like there's a lot of evidence, like, when he says, oh, I serve the realm. Someone has to serve the realm. I just want to serve the realm. Like, you're full of shit when you say that. You're really full of shit when you say that. Because there's been plenty of opportunities where we've been shown that he doesn't. That actually contradicts everything he says. Like the attorney at Harrenhal. From what we know of the attorney at Harrenhal, is that Rhaegar was planning to overthrow his father, the Mad King. The Mad King was crazy. And a war could have been prevented if Varys didn't tell Aerys what was going on at Harrenhal and then encourage Aerys to show up, like if we believe that version of events. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, he was handpicked by Ares from Pentos, where he was with Illyrio, and they were, scamming people. And I think that Ares was so paranoid that he, I'm sure, said to Varys, keep an eye on Rhaegar because he's going to do something. And so I think that was like his orders from before the tourney at Harrenhal ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know that he sorry. An
Is that
ad
the
popped
sound
up.
of Weasel drowning in Suicide
No,
Squad?
an ad popped up because I pulled up the video so I could post the Discord link.
It sounded like
YouTube ad
Suicide
popped
Squad
up.
when Weasel drowns in the ocean. He's like, ah!
It's some like Toon Blast, Block Destroyer, Candy Crush bullshit. I don't know. It's gone now. I don't even know what I was going to say. Alicia, take it away.
I'm so distracted now.
It's fine.
But
We have a
just
super
thinking of
chat.
Weasel
Weasel drowning in the
closet.
ocean.
We have a super chat. I'll read the super chat and then we'll go back to it. But we have a super chat from John Lang. Thank you for the super chat, John Lang. Evening, ladies. Do y'all think Varys is done killing in King's Landing? Hashtag plug the book club.
I saw John's chat, which is why I went in to grab the Discord link. This is all your fault, John.
So we have a Discord, the Gray Area Discord. There's a book club on there, and they read books, A Song of Ice and Fire, history, all of the lore books, all of that.
What days, MJ?
I was going to ask you what days. Guys, I can barely remember what days I have to do shit. Like, I can't remember.
Every Monday and Thursday, we have a book club where we listen to the audiobooks and we make our way through Song of Ice and Fire and the Universe extension books like Fire and Blood, Dunk and Egg, all that good stuff. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
And we have tourneys, which are really fun. We do a tourney every season, every spring, summer, winter, and fall. And we have monthly trivia nights, and there are prizes for the winners, and it's a lot of fun. Highly recommended.
Yeah. Recommend 10 out of 10. So to the question that he asked with the super chat is, do y'all think Varys is done killing in King's Landing? So do you guys think that he's done killing in King's Landing?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
No.
me either.
Like
He's
he
just
was
getting started.
So right to me, when he killed Kevin, he was so blasé about it. That tells me, sorry, not sorry. It's going to happen again. I don't know. I say no.
Edric says you have someone held hostage.
Look.
In your closet.
Every single stream, this dude's got me fucked up.
Every time.
Even when
He
we
said,
don't stream,
at first he
got
said
me
I had
fucked up.
someone hiding in my closet.
R said
yeah.
that he's not done yet either. I don't think he's done yet either.
No,
I mean,
definitely not.
killing Kevin was a big shocking OMG moment. Killing Pycelle was a big shocking OMG. That whole epilogue was dope. It was dope.
It's a chat piece. I can't, Edric. I can't fuck with you. Like,
I know. Cut it out.
I need to stop looking at the chat and focus on your beautiful faces.
So I think that he could possibly kill some more of the Lannister allies underhandedly. And maybe even Tommen himself.
I think that he'll kill off the competent ones. He's made it pretty clear that that's more of his MO. I mean, I don't think he has a whole lot of motivation to pick off a whole lot of Lannisters that aren't Kevin or someone who's super competent. Like, he needs Cersei to run amok. That's for sure. Tyrek is the name of the one that went missing during the bread riots. Okay. I'm pretty sure we can all agree he's got Tyrek tucked away somewhere, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Like the child that's in your closet right now, Mandy, or whatever it is that Edric said. So I don't think that he's going to single out any particular family. He's just going to take out anybody that gets in his way. And that could very well take out someone that, like, Like, he could take out a Tyrell for all we know. You know, he could take out someone who's loyal to the Randalls,
Like,
or to the Tarleys, even though the Tarleys are helping Aegon. Like, he'll take out anyone that strays from.
he could take out Marjorie.
Yeah, he'll take out anyone that like is a divergent to his plan.
Because with
because
Marjorie
he's
gone,
so by any means, like if anybody gets in the way of his plans, what he's got going on, all there is a liability. There's no reason not to kill him.
yeah. So we have a super chat from Reflective Rambling. Thank you for the super chat. Minerva casually says, always like listening to you ladies. I think there's so much more depth to Varys than the show gave him credit for. Do you think he's a secret Blackfyre? I do. I think there is, I won't say I think he's a secret Blackfyre. I will say I think he is a Targaryen bastard one way or the other. And I think this because there's a lot of clues that indicate this. His name is a like Daenerys, Viserys, Varys. It is a Targaryen-ish name.
Mm-hmm.
He also like shaves his head bald, which
Like
we
Egg.
know, like Egg.
Mhm.
And Egg
And
did
they even
that.
describe him, his head is
Bald
round
as
and
an
bald
egg.
as an egg.
Yeah. And then the things that he's doing, as far as like the way that he's trying to push for Aegon to be on the throne. So Varys is saying that, you know, it's what's best for the realm. And it's not. Like, we've seen that this is a child that when Tyrion poked and prodded him the right way, flipped over the game board. Like, Tyrion told him one piece of information, and that made him just like go back on years and years and years of plotting. Like, John Cunnington and that whole crew had been plotting what to do with Aegon, and Aegon has one conversation with Tyrion, and then Aegon is like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna do it this way." So he's not like the best option for the realm. So there is some other kind of motive that's going on, and I think it's
So you're thinking that
revenge.
it could be, but what's the possibility that Varys would just as easily dispose of Fagon as he has other people?
I don't think he will, because I do believe that Fagon may indeed be related to Illyrio, and I don't know how deep the relationship is between Illyrio and Varys, but I feel like it's a deep one, that there are no signs that they would betray each other.
The thing about loyalty, I don't know. Not every situation, not every person is a cookie cutter situation from another. I don't trust sneaky people. Like, even if I find them, you know, that old saying that it's like, if someone sneaks around on someone else, they'll sneak around on you. Like, I wouldn't, if I were Illyrio, I wouldn't trust Varys completely, and vice versa. But they might, I don't know. Varys is just, he's slimy. He's a creep, you know? I can't see anyone trusting him that much unless, and I'm spitballing here. I don't actually think this, but unless, oh, love of my life.
Hi, everybody. I'm back.
My sun and stars.
I'm here.
Their relationship kind of reminds me of Dunk and Egg. Like, I feel like
Illyrio
and Varys.
Okay, so how is Illyrio like Dunk?
It's just because he's
Oh, he used to be a Bravo. He used to be a Bravo back when he was in shape and actually taking care of himself before he got like
like a
and whatnot.
sellsword kind of. Like, I feel like Illyrio is the muscle. Illyrio's the muscle, and Egg is like Varys is like the brain.
I suppose that's how it used to be back in the day. Okay, so weekly tradition, now that we're back at it, I have to say something like off the fucking wall, whether I believe it or not. Theory time.
Oh no.
What's the likelihood that Varys is actually a woman?
Ooh, I thought you were gonna say a mermaid. I was like, please don't.
Oh no, we're not touching that shit with a 10-foot pole. We're not speaking words into that bullshit.
That does not. It's not happening, guys.
What's
if you had
the
hopes,
likelihood? What's the likelihood that he is actually a woman?
Never
So
thought
I've heard
about
that
it.
theory. I've heard that theory before, and that he's actually Sarah, Illyrio's wife.
It would explain the head shaving. It would
Right.
explain why, and I mean, the fact that he's been castrated hormonally can also explain this. But I mean, it would explain why he's so delicate,
Smooth.
You know. I'm spitballing here, but I guarantee there's someone on YouTube that's gonna take this out of context and then put in later like that Alicia girl. But no, I mean, it's something that like I'm not really sold on it, but I mean, we've never seen his downstairs area, so we don't know. We don't know.
well, the sorcerer doesn't say anything. The sorcerer that, like, you know,
Yeah.
I think that was a show
that he
thing.
captures. I thought that happened in the books too. I hope I'm not conflating the two.
Oh, sorry. I mean, when we see the sorcerer, I'm pretty sure it's
like when he has him like in a box and whatnot.
Yeah, you know, I really think they knew what they were doing seasons 1 through 4, 3.5, I should say, and that is one of the few scenes that for years I was just like, what? Like the sorcerer that took his balls. He's just in a box, and we're just gonna leave it at that. You know?
But nothing ever comes of it.
Never revisited.
However, what the wrench in that joke theory about him actually being a woman is, I do think he has been castrated, because I think he's too, like, magic is his enemy a little too much, and you can't just make up a reasoning like.
Oh,
and those eunuch jokes, I feel like really bother him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so I kind of totally missed it. I do think he's a Blackfyre. I just want to throw that out there. But yeah. Circling back.
We have another super chat from Wisdom Minari. He said that was a show thing, the wizard in the box.
Yeah. I don't think.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so Laura Sevenan, which was my next point. One thing that really bothered me about them bringing in Kinevra or whatever her
Kinevra.
Okay, that was like Chekhov's gun that never went off. You know, like
so much was Chekhov's gun that never went off.
That was just a tease. That was just a tease. But anyway, she said something about a voice in the flame. Mm-hmm. She's like, do you want me to tell you what you heard in that flame? And I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna revisit this later. And then we never revisited it. So that kind of makes me wonder if in the books that's something that might be revisited. Let me clarify. I don't think he's a woman, guys. I don't think he's a woman. I think he's a eunuch. So
my thought on the voice in the flames is we have a lot of the red priests seeing and hearing shit in the flames too. And I always thought that it was from the glass candles, communication through the glass candles.
Ooh. I was thinking it just might have been like some type of ritual. Well, obviously it was a ritual, but that's also why I think he is a Blackfyre, because he was sold. Like he lived with the mummers in Lys, and then he was sold to somebody in, was it Pentos or Mir?
And the thing about the priests and priestesses is they love king's blood in their rituals.
Exactly what I was going to get to. They love king's blood, so it makes sense. It tracks. And don't we know, like, from like Fire and Blood, that there is like some like Targaryen? So I think one of Jaehaerys's daughters,
Sarah,
was like Sarah. Illyrio's wife's name. It's very similar.
Like, yeah.
Is she the one that ended up going to the Free Cities? I believe
be a courtesan.
And did some work.
Yes.
She's just a whole ass mood, that woman.
Yeah. So I'm of the belief. I personally think that, you know, they specify like, oh, the Blackfyre like female line was still clearly active. In my mind, I think if Varys isn't a descendant of Sarah, which would just be a Targaryen descendant essentially, I do think he has some of that Blackfyre blood. Because figure the Bitter Steel and the rest of them were probably gallivanting all throughout the free cities, sowing their seeds everywhere. Everybody probably got a little bit of dragon blood in them somewhere around there.
I agree.
As they say in the South, spreading their wild oaks everywhere.
Exactly.
I should say.
Yeah, I think that he's related to Sarah. I think that he's related to Illyrio's wife. And I think that that's why him and Illyrio have a connection and they are able to trust each other a little better. And I also think that what could contribute to them trusting each other when they're neither one trustworthy characters is that whatever it is that they're going for is mutually beneficial. It's something that both of them are going to get something out of. And they're working towards a common goal that's going to be good for them. And I'm going to touch more on that in a moment.
One thing that I think, and George does a fantastic job of absorbing us into the story, making us very empathetic toward the characters, making us empathetic to like how they think, whether we like them or not. But something I think that we lose sight of is we tend to forget that the Blackfyres are just as much Targaryens as the Targaryens. It's literally just named. What's on top of it? The Blackfyres actually have more Targaryen blood than the Targaryens.
Illyrio says it to Tyrion.
Yeah.
Black or red, a dragon is still a dragon.
Mm-hmm. So it's what, you know, because the Blackfyre started with Daemon, who was the son of Dana, and Aegon the Unworthy. Those are two Targaryens right there. Whereas Daeron went on to have children with a Martell, you know. So I mean, it's I digress.
By the time you get to Dany, there's like Danes and Blackwoods all mixed together.
I did the math. Yeah. Technically, Dany from Aegon, assuming that Aegon, the original, the Conqueror. I'm sorry, my buzz is already hitting me. I'm sorry. This was my master plan. But like from Aegon the First, the Conqueror, that we can all agree was like pure blood Targaryen, Valyrian. God, I need water. Pure blood Valyrian.
Right, she's descendant of Aenys, right?
Yes. Yeah, so by the time you get from Aegon the Conqueror to Dany is technically only 1/16 Targaryen. I did the math some years ago and just remember walking away from it like she is 1/16 Valyrian. I mean, obviously it's enough blood in her veins to turn out with the physical features she's turned out with to be able to ride a dragon and wake the dragons and all that other stuff. But I mean, it really is in like what's in a name, you know? So to me, the Blackfyres are just as much Targaryens as the actual fucking Targaryens.
Yeah.
And George kind of throws some
technically they are.
Yeah, and George kind of throws some stuff in there so that like it calls into question how legitimate the actual legitimate line of Targaryen is. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I was gonna say they're legitimized, so technically speaking, yeah, they are.
Yeah. We have a super chat from Fernando Pugh. $5 super chat. Thank you for the super chat. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat. We also have another super chat from Emily Finsterwald. Thank you for the super chat. She says, love listening to you all. Always have interesting theories. How long do you think Varys has been planning? Since Aerys went mad or before that?
Before.
I think before too.
But
I kind of don't think before. No, I think
I was going to say, because since Aerys went mad before that, he didn't pop up, I don't believe, until after the events of Duskendale. Right? Or was he there before that?
No,
so if he's there after.
It was after because
he was already bad shit by then.
Yeah, I
Like,
think I remember Barristan saying like the king something like went crazy after Duskendale, but the
yeah.
true rot of the realm didn't happen until the spider came and started
Oh,
whispering in his
because
ear.
he was like, like Varys is super effective at his job. Like, if there's one thing that we know for certain about Varys is excellent at his job, and that's how he's able to keep his job because he shows his worth. And the problem with that is if you're already dealing with somebody that suffers from like super paranoia and anxiety and stuff that Eris had going on, then yeah, it's going to get worse when you have a really effective spy master who's actually able to get like find all these secrets out for you, because then really going to start seeing stuff everywhere because lo and behold, they are everywhere.
Well, something too that we saw very mildly showcased with Varys was when Varys was guiding Tyrion out of the black cells into freedom, into the maze of the Red Keep. It's always so hilarious to me how Tyrion takes the time to stop and ask, like, how do I get to the Tower of the Hand? And Varys was like, no, my lord, please. Okay, take 2 lefts, then a right, and go up like 14 rungs. I beg of you, my lord. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to tap 3 times on this. No, my lord, please don't. And
Right.
so that seems so half-hearted on his end. So I can totally see him too. Not that Eris needed much goading, but I can totally see him ingratiating himself to Eris by making it seem like, oh, I'm trying, I'm trying to go against I'm going against my better judgment here, but no, my lord, Rhaegar is your son. He would never betray you. So there's a tourney in Harrenhal, and I'm pretty sure he funded it. So I mean, Eris is he's so duplicitous. And I think that he's just always kind of, and other people do see it, but I think like we have as of yet to really see his chops, because the bottom line is, as he says in the show, he keeps swimming. People know what he's up to, and he's still around. He's still here. He's still still thriving.
I do feel that he had a certain amount of loyalty to Ares because he begged. I think he begged Ares not to open the gates for Tywin, and Maester Pycelle was like, "No, Tywin's your friend."
Okay. But something to
hold
consider
on.
is he didn't know how Tywin would respond to him, so that could have been self-preservation.
That's what I was going to say. It was just complete self-preservation. I actually think he did know what Tywin planned on doing, because he's like, all right, we're pretty much lost at this point. And there's no, like, anybody that knows Tywin, especially like Varys, you were in the court with Tywin for at least a few years, I'd imagine, because Tywin left right after the tourney. So he wasn't gone for too long. So I feel like Varys was like, no, don't open it because he's going to kill all of us. Like, I wouldn't,
right.
Not only that, but like with Robert, like any reasonable person would have listened to Stannis and got rid of every single person on the small council. That would have been a reasonable thing to do. So Varys in his mind is like, oh, I'm gonna die. Like if he gets in here, I'm gonna die. I think.
Well, what's on top of it? Here's the credit we need to give Varys. Varys is not above getting his hands dirty. Varys is not above when he feels like the end justifies the means, being like, I'm gonna cut out the tongues of these children. But on the other hand, I don't think he doesn't care. If like he knew that King's Landing was going to get sacked, he knew that kids were going to get murdered, he knew all the bloodshed that was going to happen. I don't think he relishes in it. So it's one of those things where it's like, if self-preservation is on the line and you can save a couple lives that things don't get decimated, you're probably going to go for that no, don't open the gates option.
Question, where was he when they were sacking the Red Keep? Because I just thought about that. I was like, I feel like he was cosplaying as a jailer again. And just hanging in the dungeons. Like, oh, they're definitely not going to come for me.
He probably was like how he's been in the dungeons, like this
hiding
entire
in the
time,
tunnels. Yeah,
in those tunnels. But he was also apparently whisking away a baby. If we, that.
Probably through the tunnels.
Do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, I have a question. Do you think Varys is a voyeurist?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
What?
He's a voyeurist. He hides and watches.
That would make sense.
So we have a super chat from No. We have a couple super chats I want to get to. We have No. Thank you for the super chat. She says GRRM George R.R. Martin said in an interview, Varys thinks he heard a voice in the flames, and that if you went back and filmed the scene, maybe you'd hear none. Feels like TEC. What's TEC?
I have no idea what that acronym. I have no idea what that acronym's
bad
for.
with abbreviations.
Feels like TEC. Oh, so somebody special key. No. Can you clarify what TEC means in the chat? I'm sorry, we're not that smart right now.
Clarify that for us. No. We also have a super chat from Wisdom Minari. Any chance?
Three-eyed crow. Sorry,
what is
TEC's Three-eyed crow.
Oh, Three-eyed crow. Ooh, I never heard that. That's my first time hearing that.
Me too. I like that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Notice I just blame everything on Blood Raven, so I just use BR.
Yeah, Blood Raven. Wisdom Minari, thank you for the super chat. Any chance he was the actual son of Aemon the Dragon Knight? We know trials by battle don't always reveal the truth. Hound Tyrion's second trial. Varys would be the son of Aemon the Dragon Knight? Ooh. Like a secret son that he had by... Like, I'm confused. Who would be the mom? Dayla? Or who was his love? Who was it that Aemon was in love with his sister, right?
Yes, but she was married to the king.
So
we know of a little girl. We know of a little girl that's in Bravos with Arya named Dana. So it could be from that line.
And also, Jamie is a knight that's in love with his sister, whose his sister's kids are bastards. No one knows it. I mean, they assume, but no one knows. So there could be like some parallel going on there. I like that. We have another super chat from Sandy Hartcorn. Thank you, Sandy, for the super chat. Varys and Illyrio are already rich and influential. Is Fagon just to see if they can scam the realm? What's the motivation?
Ooh, can I take this one?
Sure.
So I got a theory. I personally am. I'm definitely not the first to say this. I think, even though I go between it back and forth all the time with Aegon's real identity, I do believe there's credence that he may actually be Illyrio's son with Sarah. And if Varys is related to Sarah, their common interest would be her child, obviously taking over for Westeros. And if she is a Blackfyre, that's kind of been their main goal for a while, because figure the last Blackfyre rebellion of sorts was in living memory, because figure Jaime Lannister was involved. And what was that? How long ago? When like Melee's the Monstrous and all them came through, like
the War of Nine Penny
That was the
Kings.
9 Penny Kings.
Yeah, so it wasn't
that was
like
during Aerys's reign. No,
I'm sorry.
Who did Barristan serve
Barristan.
before Aerys? Because Barristan, I think.
I'm sorry, I mix up Jaime with Tywin, takesy backsies, but it's still within living memory at the end of the day. So I personally think that their vested interest is just putting their contender on the throne.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that.
And the power behind the throne is way more than the power that they command at the moment.
And one thing about people and power and success is that no matter how much you have, you always want more. You're going to always want more. Especially people like Varys and Illyrio, who are like schemers and plotters and scammers. Like, they're going to always want more power. They're always going to crave that success. Like they said in American Horror Story episode,
yes,
once you taste it, you'll never be able, like, it's the most addicting thing in the world. And that's true. It's a true statement. So I agree with what Ara says, and their motivation is power and putting their contender on the throne. Because whoever controls the Sunset Kingdom, like, that's Westeros is the most powerful country, 7 kingdoms in all of all of Essos and Westeros.
Yeah, because like whoever controls the king controls the kingdom, essentially.
Can I make a parallel that might get slightly political?
Ooh, sure.
I'd hate to piss off a certain commenter that is absolutely obsessed with commenting on everything that I do. Almost like the United States.
Yeah.
Influence over XYZ going on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as if. But we'll leave it at that. We will we'll leave it there. But I do think with Varys, I've heard the theory that he could be Sarah's brother, and that's a big motivator for him. I mean, it would explain why he has so much vested interest. The thing about Fagon is Tyrion kind of proved on the boat while they were on the Rhoyne that he's very easily manipulated. With that said, I kind of wonder how Varys is going to operate with Arianne, because Arianne is kind of a master manipulator. That's what she does.
And Varys doesn't have a coochie.
And Varys doesn't have a coochie.
That was supposed to be in my head. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. If them ass cheeks are fat enough, you can work with that.
I mean, like, to me, I feel like Fagon is potentially another Joffrey. That you put him on the throne and you won't be able to control him. He's damn sure not a Tommen. He's not a Tommen.
I would think he leans more towards a Tommen than a Joffrey, because I don't think he has that super sadistic nature that Joffrey has.
But he's never had.
He's
never had power.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem like intrinsically cruel. Like Joffrey was cutting kittens out of cat bellies and shit. Like he's I think crazy.
So I can definitely see Fagon power tripping when it comes down to it. He is a Targaryen by blood. I'm not saying by name. He's Targaryen. Nobody trip out, please. But I mean, like, when you are that inbred, there's a certain mental instability that comes with it. I don't think he'd go as far as to say he could be a Maegor, because the thing about Joffrey is Joffrey was sadistic and cruel, and he was also a huge blowhard. And from what I understand, Fagon actually has some, like, if he throws his thing around, it's not completely unprecedented. Jesus Christ. But I mean, time for another beer.
To me, right now, he's at the mercy of Illyrio. He's at the mercy of John Cunnington. He's at the mercy of all these people who have been grooming him and helping him. When he gets a dragon, do we think he's going to have that same demeanor as Dany had when she had her dragons, where she rarely uses them, like she's only used them
I think by the time he gets to a point where he steals a dragon, he's going to be desperate. So I think he'll do desperate things on Dragonback, because that's the thing. Like, I'm going to go back to that Syvass game with Tyrion. That was to show, I don't want to say his true colors, because when it comes down to it, he's just a kid. Right. But I mean, that just comes to show like what we're actually dealing with here, which is a kid. Right. I think
his age and inexperience is going to play a lot into it, because he is still naive and malleable, and he doesn't have the world experience backing up his convictions yet.
And I think that he'll have so many voices in his ear that it'll really confuse him and push him to do rash things. And it's kind of like in season 4 of Game of Thrones, when Cersei was talking about Tommen and her fears about leaving King's Landing, and she says to Tywin, "You'll put your claws in him, and Marjorie will put her claws in him, and you'll rip him apart." I think Arianne's going to try to do her thing, for the sake of Dorne, and I think that Varys and Illyrio are going to do their thing. They might end up trying to get rid of Arianne, but the thing is, there are so many sand snakes. Not so many. There are enough pivotal sand snakes running around King's Landing that you could definitely have some huge political issues on your hand. And with that said, sometimes what do you do when you've got so many voices in your ear? You tune them all out and you do whatever the fuck you want to do. Yeah. So I think that's where he'll get rash.
So I was thinking, all right, so I've been of the belief since that episode aired, and I hate talking about it with a passion. But
Yes.
the bells, I've always felt was Aegon's story, not any story. Because like the bells sending her off, like bells for Dothraki mean victory. That wouldn't trigger her. But know who would trigger? John Connington, who already has PTSD about bells, who happens to, oh my goodness, be the person who raised Aegon.
Or
So maybe,
Cersei,
or Cersei from the Walk of Shame.
the shame bell.
Exactly. So my thing is with Aegon is I personally gotta flesh this out, but I do think there's that grayscale thing I keep talking about. People are gonna catch it. John Con most likely will probably get Aegon infected if anybody because he's around him so damn much. So, and once you get infected with it, it starts making you slowly like mad. It makes you crazy. So I could see like if on the back of a dragon, just already kind of losing his mind anyways, just burning the whole thing down. Like he's gonna lose his shit. But
So
I don't think he's gonna steal a dragon. I think that the whole Danny Fagon situation is going to play out kind of like how the dance did. Like Danny knows that she has 2 dragons and she needs 2 more riders because we know that dragons without riders are a liability. We've seen it at Templeton. So she has a red sewing of her own, like what is the other word that it was? The red sewing. I don't know. The seeds, some shit that she's gonna do that. And then you know how like Off the White and Hugh the Hammer kind of like turned on Rhaenyra because Damon was trying to tell Rhaenyra to make these marriages for them, and like she wasn't, or like they weren't the marriages that they wanted. So I feel like Fagon is definitely going to be that Hugh the Hammer Off the White kind of character in Danny's Dance of Dragons. Yeah.
Are you talking about looking for the dragon seeds?
Yeah, the dragon seeds.
yes.
So I knew what she meant. I was just like, yeah, yeah. So I think we tend to forget too. We get so caught up in like end results that we don't always focus on the road that led us there when we're doing our theory crafting. I can totally see Danny trying to make an alliance with Aegon work. And with that said, during that alliance, he doesn't have to steal a dragon in order to get a dragon. I mean, he's got dragon blood, for fuck's sake. I can totally see her too, even trying to weigh out if she's okay with this whole 2 wives thing. I can see them forming an alliance while they try to fandangle, okay, who's going to rule, who's not, and then shit hitting the fan during this deliberating.
I was going to say, I think she might even test him because in her head, she's been told and just like everybody else, the same story. Even Kevin says it when he's about to die, that baby's dead. Like his head was smashed against the wall. Kevin's like, I saw the body, like that dead. What are you talking about? So I could see Danny being like, oh, you're my brother's son. Prove it. Pick the dragon. Pick a dragon. Let me see. Let me watch you get on one of these dragons. And
she's not really in the know about the Blackfyres, is she?
Probably not. She only did stuff from
Viserys.
Oh no, she has Sir Barristan around now, and Barristan has been telling her more stuff, and he would obviously know because he killed Meleys, so
he's kind of an idiot though. I don't know if he would put 2 and 2 together.
No, because he's
put 2 and 2 together.
Oh no, not in that sense. But I think he'll also have doubts as well because he's gonna be like. But again, he was at the Battle of the Trident, so he might buy Varys' story because he knows how crafty Varys is, and in my opinion, the maths on some of that stuff. And I actually wanted to bring it up because there was a super chat that we didn't get to.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, it was up there for a second.
God, it feels so good to stream with you again. You're so executive.
Thank
You're so sexy. I don't care if anyone thinks we're lesbians this
Mandy,
time.
do you have it?
Because the super chat reminded me of something with baby Fagon or Aegon.
Let me see if I can pull it up from.
Oh, where'd it go?
I can't find it in StreamYard.
Oh, let me see if I can find
I'll just try to pull it up on the chat.
I thought I read it. I must not have.
So, did we get to was the Minari saying "Dare on the good"? I mean him. did we get
That's the one
to
I see.
Fernando Puig saying the reason why I think Aegon is real is because he told Kevin about him and he could have just lied about him. And more importantly, he of all people would know if Aegon is real or not.
That was the
Yes,
one. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that super chat. Yeah, that was something that's always been like on me. Like when I think about that theory, it's like, well, why would he lie? Like Kevin's not going to be around to repeat anything that he tells them. But then you always have to think he knows that people are listening because that's what he does. That's his profession.
So I had a little
I didn't think
crackpot
about
theory that just generated while we were doing this earlier. If you saw me doing like all this stuff, that's because I was thinking. So just because I was recently rewatching this movie and I don't like it that much, but Fantastic Beasts 2. I don't know what that was back there. The Fantastic Beasts. Yeah. Oh god, that movie's a clusterfuck. But anyways, there's a plot line where there is a baby swap, where people think in the future that Credence is, I forgot Zoe Kravitz's character's name, but Zoe Kravitz's character's
the strange
brother. Yeah, like whatever they are. But anyways, Lita, yes.
Yeah.
So they think Credence is Lita's brother, but we end up finding out that Lita actually swapped her brother with Credence as babies, and her brother's the one who died. And then it also reminded me how George takes inspiration from the Iron King, another baby swap. Oh, this baby might be in danger, so we're just gonna swap the actual real heir with his milk brother real quick, and we'll switch them back afterwards, just in case that baby ends up dying. So I'm thinking in my head, what if Sarah had a baby, and that is a baby that they swapped with the actual Aegon, not thinking like, oh, maybe Sarah's baby will actually become the like heir to the Iron Throne one day. Ha ha ha! Joke's on you. But he actually ended up dying. So like, oh shit. So we actually gotta do something with this.
Right. And we have an instance of George doing that in the books already with Gilly's baby and Mance's baby.
Yeah, that baby swap thing, I feel like that's not going to be the only baby. Obviously, we have the whole Aegon storyline, but I feel like where the actual heir gets killed, or like, sorry, the heir is supposed to be dead, but like he's actually really living type of situation. I think that does apply to Aegon more than it applies to Monster and Gilly's baby, because like, who's Mance really?
Rhaegar.
Sir Arthur, damn.
Yeah,
just kidding. Don't look at me like that. I'm kidding.
Bloodraven's baby. I'm just kidding. I don't know what Mance is, but Mance is not that important enough for him to be that major baby swap, in my opinion. But
they do say that like they swapped Aegon with a prince from Pisswater Bend, so some like random baby from Pisswater Bend.
Yeah,
and like it's somewhere in the story that the best lies have parts of the truth in it. So I do think there was a swap. I just don't necessarily know what kind of swap. And I also think we're never going to find out about it. We're never going to find out if he was real, if it wasn't.
Wouldn't that be like the ultimate just mind fuck if it was actually Rhaegar's son?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd rather not know though.
Oh, we're never going to know because it's not like Westeros has Maury. There's no way of proving it.
How many problems would have been solved if they did? Like Robert Baratheon, you are not the father. Ooh, Ned gets to stay alive, and now we don't have.
I'm just thinking about the cameramen that just like, I'm sure they trained those cameramen through all conditions. Give them good running shoes.
I just pictured Lena Headey just running backstage.
Mackenzie Manderley said, dude, the Pisswater Prince is the greatest title. It really is. Wisdom Minari, thank you for the super chat. Mance is a king. Power resides where men believe it resides. It is known. Aerys was an untouchable king until he wasn't.
Here's the thing about Mance. Okay. I don't think Mance counts for that whole power resides where men believe it resides, because Mance is the only king I can think of in that entire series that earned his kinghood.
Mm-hmm.
Like
was
he
chosen.
spent 20 years earning it. So
Yeah.
that's one of those things where it's like, it's not about where we think it resides, like power resides with a man's. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like he's a powerful guy. I also feel like there's a lot, like when we talk about king's blood, like I don't know if it necessarily means like you need this kind of royal blood, this Targaryen blood. I feel like, yeah, maybe that makes it special because for some reason these fuckers can ride dragons and shit. But I also think you should think about it as like sacrifices
title.
that are so big. Like the wildlings losing Mance kind of makes them fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big sacrifice. And we have another super chat from Fernando Pug. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think Elia knew about the baby swap?
If there was a baby swap, yes.
No.
Absolutely, yes. As a way of protecting her child, because me as a mom, if I can't get both my kids out, especially when Rainey's has like identifiable features, so it's harder to swap her. But if you came to me as a mom, as my good girl Elizabeth said in The White Queen, you got two precious gemstones. You're gonna keep them in the same box if you're risking thieves, or you're gonna separate them.
Yeah.
So I believe, and not only that, how are you gonna get? Well, yeah, I guess when the baby's sleeping in a nursery, you could sneak it out, but like.
If there was a baby swap, she knew about it because the story goes that the baby that was dashed against the wall was ripped from her arms. I'm pretty sure she'd know her own baby.
She would have known that wasn't her baby.
Yeah, she would have known. So
but even then, it doesn't have to be your baby for you to be protective of it.
But
it's
if
still
you
a
have
baby.
a soul.
A baby's a baby. You're gonna want to do your best to like,
This is what I'm thinking. If one of you three wanted to take my baby to safety, I would give you three my baby. I would not give Varys.
We could be like the three fairies in Sleeping Beauty.
Like I wouldn't even give Varys to Yuki, let alone my baby. And I feel like if she did, it had to be somebody. Rhaegar but Rhaegar couldn't have told her about it. Like I don't.
But think about what desperation does, because here's the thing, like,
was it desperation makes like strange bedfellows or something?
Think about the time lapse that had to occur from the moment that it was apparent that Tywin was sacking the city to when Amory Lorch and Gregor Clegane actually made their way to the tower. Like, it had to be a few hours, With that said, if I knew that they were going to come and most likely kill me and kill my children, and I have this like this tiny little 10% hope, even 10% hope that this person coming and saying this is contingent upon if the babies were swapped, someone saying like, I can lead your child to safety. Guess what I'm gonna do? Like it's like biblically in the Bible, Moses's mother put him in a basket and sent him down the Nile because the Pharaoh in the Bible was killing all babies because there was a prophecy that this baby was going to, topple down his dynasty in a way,
Oh my God, it's like the plot of the Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Prince of Egypt is based on the Bible, my love. Deliver us. But yes, exactly. Like, okay, so Prince of Egypt, for people that do not appreciate the Bible, and I can appreciate how other people don't appreciate the Bible, there was that chance. There was that chance sending her child down the Nile would give him more of a fighting chance to live than actually keeping that child. I think any mother would take that in a moment of desperation when your time is up.
Also, I just wonder, like, kind of what was the nature of their relationship? Because obviously we don't really know, but I feel like Varys he likes to like protect friends with people. Like him and Tyrion, like are like super chummy when Tyrion pops up. And Varys, even though he's fake, but like Tyrion almost is like, I know I can't trust him, but I kind of trust a little, but not enough. But like that, you know what I mean? They have like a nice little weird relationship between the two. And with Elia, I'm like, obviously by this point, I'm assuming if in my opinion, is a baby up, it'd be after Rhaegar fell at the Trident.
Do you think
Because then
that
it's
Elia,
like desperation would set in. It's like, all right, my husband's dead,
I
and
feel like
Aerys is
if
not
they
letting us
planned
out.
on, if there was indeed a baby swap, they planned on it the moment that Rhaegar fell at the Trident, because everyone knew where the war was
Once
going.
it was lost,
Yeah.
once Rhaegar was lost, the war was practically done.
Because whether
Tywin's not going to defend Aerys.
Yeah, because whether Tywin would have showed up at those gates to speed it along or not, they knew that Robert was now king, and he had no desire to let quote unquote dragon seed live. So if there was a baby swap, that had to have been in the works probably before Rhaegar fell. So I mean, Rhaegar falling probably set those plans in motion, but that's all contingent upon the word if.
Yeah.
do you think Elia and Varys could have had a relationship like Sansa and Littlefinger?
Quite possibly. I mean, they would see each other a lot. Like how we're in the Red Keep.
In
like
what
that.
way?
Like,
In what way?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on with Sansa and Littlefinger.
Yeah, because he kind of
mean, just
thinks it's
in
like his
the-
daughter.
In the protective kind of way, in the protective nature, but I know Littlefinger's awful.
No.
I know he's awful, but he does like get her out of King's Landing to his own torture and shit.
I don't think so. I think that she was just a tool.
It just bothers
I don't
me to
see
think
her
that
leaving her quarters a whole lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think
she was
Aerys
sick.
let
I think
her.
that she's like sick and frail.
yeah, she was sick. But it's just like weird to me that if this baby isn't your son, that you're holding this baby, but you're not with your daughter. Like your daughter, she's not around. I don't know. It just
Well, I thought the daughter was nearby.
she was in like Rhaegar's bedroom under his bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, if the baby's like crying and stuff like that, you can pick it up, try to be quiet. Like,
True.
that's the only thing I can think of. Like, why? Like, wasn't Rhaenys found with her cat? She's probably chasing a little badass cat around, and then it was like, ooh, that does not sound right. And then
Okay, side note.
Also, I do
How
think that
depressing
cat's still
is it-
around.
Yeah.
How
Valerian
I
the
was
black cat.
gonna say, how depressing is it that little kitten she had is still running around the Red Keep
Isn't that the cat Arya was chasing when she
Yeah,
went down into the
Valerian.
with one ear?
yeah,
Yeah.
And
that's
they
her
say
cat.
that he's the black bastard that's the true king of the castle.
And he like fucked up Tywin.
And this is when
he stole a fish off his plate or
Yeah.
something.
And this is
Yeah.
when she's overhearing Varys and Ilyrio's conversation, which is setting up
Yeah.
Aegon, whose
Which is-
sisters,
Which is
cat
for
that
sure
was.
breadcrumbing.
bro,
Yeah.
bro. George is so good. This is what, book one?
That's
Like,
in the
juicy.
Obsidian
This
Nights
is tea.
episode that I did with Gray.
Yes.
It's a good
oh,
one.
really?
It's a good one.
But,
Oh, I'm
but no,
pretty
now
positive.
that I think it was Gray that pointed out, because one thing I always got caught up on is like, why would Varys give Kevin this whole confession before he dies? If like he basically spoke about Aegon like he was legitimate, like why would he do that? And then one of you pointed out that someone's always listening in the walls, whether you employ
Walls
them or
have
not. But
ears.
something I was thinking about, because most people that listen know that I work at a school. I educate young children about the age that Varys would employ to be little birds. I don't know if any of you have seen those TikToks, but you don't have to see the TikToks to know how children are. There's this trend going where someone imitates a child being like, and then my mommy and daddy be fighting and they be hitting each other like, bitch, bitch, bitch. And then they do a cartwheel. Like, that's how kids are. Like, kids just say too much. So it's fucked up that he takes their tongues. It's awful that he takes their tongues. It's wrong that he takes their tongues. But with that said, like, if I were a borderline evil man that's like ends justifies the means, and I really only need you to steal letters,
Yeah.
Kids talk.
Like, I have a lot of damn kids, and I don't consider myself an evil person.
Champ is here.
But there's even times where I'm like, okay, I get it.
You're talking too much.
I worked at a daycare. I definitely get it because it's like they would ruin my whole master plan.
You guys are awful. We have a
I didn't
super.
say it was okay. I'm just saying.
But I
if
was gonna say-
I'm
were
not
a
saying I
certain
would
type
do
of
it. I said I understand the impulse.
Yeah.
I think
No.
I think what this all just stems down to, Varys is just a textbook villain. You know, like when you watch like those movies and all the villains give their grand speech when they should have just been quiet, executed their plan, and then said something afterwards. Like, yeah, that's how I feel about Varys. He's just like, no, I prepared a speech to give to
The way
you
the
while you
chat-
die.
The way the chat is responding to this. Someone said, I don't consider myself evil, but
Will this be a bad time to say I'm a Slytherin?
I'm just saying, factually, kids talk. Okay, love them for that. Love it for them. But if I'm not saying it's okay. I think it's super wrong. I'm just saying, like, if I were an evil person, I can understand where the mindset comes from.
Right.
I hope no one from work finds this podcast.
So
They're
that's
gonna
why
start hiding your scissors.
essentially that was Jamie Lannister's logic and pushing Bran out the window. So we have a super chat from Catherine Pelletier. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, ladies. Thank you for these streams. What do you think Varys' relationship, if he has one, with Jon Snow will be in the rest of the series? It doesn't say Jon Snow on the screen, but she did say Jon Snow in the chat. Mandy?
This is a perfect segue into my prepared material
Yay.
because the whole thing that started this was I was thinking about how unrealistic it is for us to believe that Varys doesn't know about Jon. He knows everything about everyone. He knows all the secrets. He has eyes everywhere. And so that led me down this little wormhole, and I started back at Varys' origins. And we find out about Varys' origins the most from Illyrio. Illyrio's traveling with Tyrion, and he tells Tyrion that him and Illyrio were friends and pickpockets as young men, and that the statue of the Bravo by his little pool is him at 16. And we found out that Illyrio and Varys ran this game, and this is how it went. So Varys would spy on the lesser thieves, and he would take the things that they took. And then these thieves would then go to Illyrio, who offered to help them get their things back. So they were making money on both sides. They were making the fee that they would pay Illyrio to get their things back, and they would make money off of the valuables that they would buy back from Varys. Or if they couldn't, then Varys would sell them off or do whatever. So they were getting money from both sides. They got even more rich after Varys started training his little mice. In Essos, they were called his little mice. They would steal secrets for Varys, and he started this way back when. So these reputations that Illyrio and Varys developed got them some pretty good rewards. Illyrio ended up marrying the maiden daughter of a Pentoshi prince, and Varys was handpicked by the Mad King to go to King's Landing and be his secret dealer. So we know that Varys never stopped dealing these secrets, right? Like he did in Essos. He was still doing that in Westeros. But who's to say that him and Illyrio still aren't running that game they were running before? That
Steal a baby, give back a baby.
so Varys is fucking shit up, and Illyrio is offering to help.
It up.
Put a pin in that because we're going to come back to that. We're going to circle back. Before Varys kills Sir Kevin, Harris Swift suggests that they take a loan out of the Iron Bank to bribe the Golden Company with. And Sir Kevin says, hey, the Magisters in Pentos give out loans too.
Huh.
I'm sorry, because it's all dark. Sorry.
Okay. So then I was reading a Mercy chapter. Alicia was telling you I was reading this Mercy chapter, right? A couple days ago. Mercy, who of course is Arya, and Dana, who, again, like I said earlier, there's a Dana that is in our story right now. So they are standing backstage looking at the audience who has come to see this mummers show. And we see a key holder from the Iron Bank. His name is Bizarro Rayon. Bizarro Rayon is described like this. He's so fat you ought to count him twice. All the Rayons are fat. The father was even larger. He was summoned to the Hall of Truth to vote, but when he stepped onto his barge, it sank. They said that Bizarro Rayon needs a chair thrice as wide as a normal chair. That is exactly how Illyrio is described.
Ooh, and he's originally from Bravos.
And he's a Bravosi Bravo. So, his father is dead. Bizarro Rayon very, very well could be his brother, who is a key holder at the Iron Bank.
The maths.
The math totally maths. And if he had a hand at his disposal in Bravos, where the eggs were, he would be able to then obtain the dragon eggs from the Sea Lord of Bravos because he had his hand in the Iron Bank. Now, they have also sent an envoy from the Iron Bank to the Wall.
I'm so turned on right now.
And to King's Landing. Love that for you. So this guy, what is his name? Tycho Nestoris, right? He's been to King's Landing. He's been to the Wall. He's got his fingers in everything. So we don't know if he's in on this little scheme, but it's feeling like Illyrio has got connections with the Iron Bank vis-a-vis this guy who I think is his brother. His name is Bizarro and his name is Illyrio. They have the double consonant ending with an O thing. Like, the family names tend to sound alike. Bizarro, Illyrio, like that. Even that kind of hit me. And then they started with the description and they're described so much alike. So I think they're brothers. Okay, now back to my original point. Does Varys know about Jon?
Has to.
When Ned is in the black cells, it's what is it? Ned 15. He is thinking about Jon. He's thinking about Lyanna. He's having this. He thinks he's going crazy because he's having this moment where he's hearing Lyanna saying, "Promise me, Ned. Promise me, Ned." And Varys comes to him, offers him wine, and he says in the beginning of the conversation that Ned is honest and honorable. And about halfway through the conversation, he goes, "Oh yeah, that bastard of yours." And it's like, it was almost a blatant contradiction. Like, he tells him what a great guy he is and then goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're bastard," which seemed like, I don't know. It didn't seem like it flowed real well with the conversation from Varys's point of view, because Varys is very honest about people. So saying that Ned was honest and honorable was almost like his way of saying, "I know that you actually are." And then bringing up his bastard was him saying, like, "I just said you're honest and honorable, so I know he's not really your bastard." And then Ned asks him if he will messenger a letter for him. And Varys responds, "I will gladly provide you with paper and ink if you like, and when you have written what you will, I will take the letter and read it and deliver it or not, as best serves my own end." Ned is still
honest.
What a bitch.
Ned is still thinking about Jon.
Not really. At least he's honest about it, because I'd be mad if I wrote something and I'm like, yeah, at least they're gonna see this, and then they never see it.
He does straight up tell him, like,
that,
it does tell you. It makes you also think
Ned
maybe
is
I make a
still
little
thinking
juicy.
about Jon. And I think that letter that he wanted to write was finally writing the letter to Jon, telling him who his parent, the story of his parentage.
But the thing about that is, it would be, well, never mind. Ned's sloppy as fuck. Ned is sloppy as fuck.
He is, but then when Varys says, maybe I will, maybe I won't, and I'm going to read it first, Ned goes, "Oh, okay, never mind." And that never happens, right? Because he knows that information would not be safe with Varys if he's going to straight out say, "Yeah, but I'm going to read it, bitch." Like, of course he wouldn't trust that information knowing it was going to be read. So he never does.
Edric Storm, I'm just like obsessed with every time his name comes up because I can't fuck with him.
No, because Lyanna was a sneaky like.
My laptop
Jesus
isn't
Christ.
charging for some
Ow.
reason. My
Oh,
laptop
yeah,
isn't charging for some reason, so I really need to power through this last little bit.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think they know about Ned and they know about John and they know about what happened in the Tower of Joy. I don't know how Varys could not know. I think that they are connected through Sarah because there's a sort of connection that seems familial to me. I think that there's a trust there that was built over a long time and personal gain. And I think that Daenerys was always supposed to be their Aegon the Conqueror, and they wanted 2 husbands for her to have.
Mm.
And because they knew about John's parentage and they had this other baby, which I totally agree with you guys. I didn't say anything earlier because I wanted to save it for this. I totally agree with you guys. I think that Fagon is Sarah's and they were switching him out for Sarah's child, and then Sarah's child ended up getting killed. So they went with plan B and just stuck with Fagon through the whole thing. And that his brother is a iron banker. Ta-da!
I love it. Only thing I would say, my only thing is, I meant to ask you guys this. Do you guys actually think Ilario and Varys intended Daenerys to actually make it out of the Dothraki Sea?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But at the same time, I feel like they didn't want Viserys to either.
Everything was changing because they didn't know John was going to go to the wall either.
Well, the
That
thing about
too.
Right around the
Viserys
same
is
time is when
Viserys-
John went to the wall.
Yeah,
That is true.
The thing about Viserys is I don't think they were super concerned about him no matter what he did because he's such a fool. He would have set himself up for demise no matter what.
Yeah. I just realized the wall, with John going to the wall, they really were banking on Ned also going to the wall with John. And if Varys was kind of nice to Ned in his last moments that he thought he might have actually had, that you know what I mean. I think he was supposed to. He thought he was going to the wall. Everybody thought he was going to the wall until I think Littlefinger's one who told Joffrey to kill him. But story for another day.
Just to riff off what Mandy said. Oh, were you finished?
Oh no, I was going to say. I think him sending Ned going to the wall would play into Varys's plan still, because if he's like, okay, I have this slightly positive relationship with Ned, so when Aegon does come over, I know I could probably get the North support because, oh, look, I do know you also are hiding a little Targaryen bastard up there. So let's be friends. But that was it.
I think that it
that's
was
a good point.
beneficial for Varys to have his options open. Like there was no need for him to be like, oh, a Targaryen bastard north of the wall. Let me figure out what I can do to kill him. No, he's going to keep that tucked away. Like, I think he would definitely honor the secret. However, like, he knew.
He had to know.
I want to riff off what Nim said. If the Bravo, the banker, the Iron Banker, is Illyrio's brother, then the Faceless Men could possibly be working for Illyrio and his brother to hatch this dragon egg that we think they're trying to hatch for Aegon.
Really? Because I kind of
Which
see the
also
Faceless Men as-
explains how and why Jaqen was in the cells, because Illyrio can get whoever the hell he wants in and out of the cells.
Varys.
Because Varys is the head
Varys
jailer.
get anyone
Listen,
he wants in and out of the cells, and that's how Jaqen
Mandy,
was there.
parts of my body just tingled. With that said, I think that you need to hype yourself up to, you told me about a certain theory you had before we started streaming, and I think that you should delve into that and keep me tingling. Come on, lady.
Well, let me read this super chat real quick before you jump into that. So we have a super chat from our moderator, Lord Corliss Whitefire. Thank you for the super sticker. If you have a question, put it in the chat. And we have one from Wisdom Minari. Thank you for the super chat, Wisdom Minari. How would he know about John's parentage if only Ned and Howland Reed left the town? Yeah,
Can I take that?
Let me answer and then I'll
Gotcha.
pass it to you. I personally don't think he knows about it. I don't think he knows about it because I do feel like everybody that was at the Tower of Joy that knew about the baby were dead. They all died. The Kingsguard died. The people that came with Ned all died, but Hal and Reed.
Okay, but what about the
Hold on?
midwives?
I was about to. That's why someone.
I'm
next,
sorry.
Alicia. Raise my hand, Alicia. Your Sagittarius moon's coming out right now.
I was gonna say that. I was like, I'm sorry, my Sag moon was like, okay, sorry.
Well,
Go
I
ahead,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say now they had a long journey with this baby back to the north. They had
You
to
know,
they went
Ned's not giving that baby suck. So I mean,
I was gonna
They-
say, so yeah, my point was I think he absolutely did know because I feel like it was one of the worst kept secrets in the world. Because one, they had to have supplies going in and out of the Tower of Joy constantly. So they had to be getting supplies from somewhere, meaning ravens are probably going back and forth during this whole process. You gotta get a wet nurse. This is also like the crown prince. He doesn't serve himself. So you need to have a whole household there to take care of everybody. You need the wet nurses for when she does give birth, food, like you have all these attendants lying around. So like and then they knew where to find Rhaegar. So I doubt the Varys of all people, especially where he's the one who ratted out Rhaegar for Harrenhal. He definitely kept spies around Rhaegar at all times if he could. So he most definitely had people at the Tower of Joy. So like in my mind, I'm he knows. But I think the people that did survive, they were most likely all Targaryen loyalists, and like a lot of the Targaryen loyalists for the most part during Robert's, especially his early parts of his reign, try to lie low and keep their heads down because like you're on the wrong side, you either get killed, you can get sent to the wall. Like there's repercussions for that. People get your land taken. So I think for them, if they just, cut their mouth shut, probably got paid off. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
I think it's very possible. I think that would have been a good bit of information that Varys could have used. I guess he didn't need it because Robert forgave him anyway, because Robert's just a fucking dummy.
Yeah. I think he was just holding it. I think he was holding it for a while.
My actually least favorite character, and I mean like primary character, maybe not necessarily point of view or main character, but like primary pivotal character, my least favorite that I don't fuck with is Robert Baratheon.
No, Bobby B.
I fucking hate that
Bobby B.
I love Bobby B.
So
too.
we have a super chat from Fernando Puig. Would Tywin have known about R plus L equals J if he cared? There's no way Tywin knew because he would have taken care of that.
And he didn't even know about C plus J equals TJM. Exactly. He didn't even know that shit, and that was in his own house.
Oh yeah, because he would have ratted him out. Because one, that also drives a wedge between Ned and Robert, which allows him to even secure more power and influence over Robert by isolating him from his friends. But,
if he knew, I agree though. If he knew, he would have took care of that shit. Jon Snow would have fell off.
Oh, he'd have snitched so fast.
Jon Snow would have taken a great fall. So we're winding down. Mandy, did you want to talk about your theory?
Alicia, are you talking about the numbers?
Yes.
That's not fully formed yet.
Okay, that's not fully formed. We'll revisit that.
We will revisit it. I'm slightly disappointed. No tingles for Alicia tonight, I guess.
I've only even gone through 2 books and I already have a whole page. I still have
Gods, that was strong. Yes. Bobby B.
Edric, am I Allie?
Yeah, I think for Alicia.
Is that what you're called? Okay. All right. Haven't been called Allie in some time.
Yeah, he's
I see you.
He's a House Baratheon ally.
Listen, Bobby B.
There's a lot of Bobby B quotes going in the chat, and I like it.
No, he does Bobby B, suck. He does suck, but he's a very sad story. He's a very sad story.
Right all the time. Yeah, you can be a sad story and you can suck. You can
see, and I have this whole theory that Robert knew about Jon.
Hell no.
No, but I have like citations and stuff.
If Robert knew about
you think he would have let him like
Jon would have been
okay, but hear me out.
Embodiment.
They're constantly saying when Ned first goes there that Ned had sway over him when he was younger, that he was not as hot-tempered and he was more eager to listen to Ned. And when they're riding away through the Barrows, when they're going south, Ned yells a question at Robert. Do you remember that? And the wind catches his voice away, and Ned is screaming this question at Robert, and Robert won't look back at him, and he just keeps going. And he completely ignores him. And that's like so out of character for him, right?
I knew you wanted to read that. I knew you were like dying and oozing to read it.
No,
read it, Alicia.
Go ahead, Alicia. With your whole chest.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I'm going to be the person to defend a part of this.
All right, with
So
my
you're gonna
whole
say that.
chest. Robert did beat his wife, was okay with the murder of children, and probably committed martial assault against Cersei. He was pretty scummy. You can't
Marital
dissuade
assault.
me from those facts.
Okay.
He can be scummy and still
Listen,
not be
I'm like the North.
worst
I'm like the
character.
North. I remember.
All right. So this is going to
Okay.
sound really bad. Okay, guys, just hear me out. I am
You sound like me.
not against Robert being okay with the murder of Rhaenys and Aegon.
You know what? You can leave.
And the reason why I'm saying I'm not against it is because if you're just coming into your power and you're securing your throne, you need to eliminate every and all threats to said power, especially once you have obtained it. These are legitimate heirs to the throne. You gotta either you kill them now or you're gonna kill them in the future when they rise up against you. You gotta nip it in the butt. That's just power politics at the end of the day. It's messed up. It's
forced
foul.
that motherfucker to be king. He could have just taken out Ares, and that could have been that.
They kind of
then
did
who would have?
force him to
They
be
kind
king,
of
though.
did, and then he kind of had like they
And he
kind of
was
went by his
miserable.
grandma as like the reason for him to be the one to actually like. They're like, well, you do. I don't. All of us have the Targaryen ancestry for using that to legitimize you a little bit more, but
That chapter where Robert and Ned are in the tent and Robert's talking about how he's never been more fucking depressed in his life being king. Like, he can't stand Joffrey. Like, he thinks something's fucking wrong with Joffrey, which there is. Like, he hates his life. It's not an excuse for him to be a terrible person, but like, he peaked at the Trident, and everything after the Trident has been nothing but misery for him.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that he does not like. I'm the kind of person in general. Like, I feel like I'm more like sympathetic to people than is good for me a lot of the time.
I know.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a tragic backstory. He does. However, in the real world, we don't give people an out just because mommy and daddy never hugged them. You know, like, there's still accountability for people's
Alicia,
actions. He has a very
they got shipwrecked.
Listen to me.
Yo, listen, no,
They can't
A
hug him if they're-
reason, listen, there could be a reason for somebody's actions. Reason being what, like, an explanation for what the fuck possessed them to do XYZ, but it is not an excuse. So I think Bobby B has a very, very, very well written tragic backstory, and there are times I'm like, oh, I almost gave a fuck, you know. But he's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, and I hate him.
All the lords of
sorry.
Westeros
Everybody's
are
a
pieces
poop.
of shit. All of them,
Okay,
except for Daenerys.
that doesn't
Brienne's
Brienne's like the only not poop.
Listen, that doesn't
Brienne's not a
disprove
poop.
that Bobby B's a piece of shit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you said that. Like,
Doesn't make him any less of a piece of shit.
You're not
because
disproving.
no, because
what
like
said.
I feel like you guys are just saying, oh, he's just a stupid alcoholic. Fuck him.
I never said alcohol. I never said the word.
You never
alcohol.
said
I
it,
never,
but I'm
I never brought up
paraphrasing.
his drinking.
So
I
you
brought
don't
up his
like
actions.
Bobby B as like your least favorite when Lancel exists?
Lancel's not a primary character. Lancel's just there.
Ramsay exists,
No.
Roose Bolton exists, Tywin Lannister exists, but Bobby
But
B.
Ramsay's not.
Poor Bobby B.
Listen,
I was like, Lancel's mine. I don't like
I'm
Lancel.
talking
So stupid.
tier 1 pivotal characters. Ramsay's more like a psycho
Lancel?
fuck that's an annoyance.
Oh,
on the
wait a
end.
minute. Hold on.
Okay.
Lancel helped kill Robert. Lancel also snitched on Cersei.
Okay,
Which
I would
caused a whole lot of
Robert. Okay, good for Lancel. Love that for
That
him.
makes me like
How could I
Lancel more.
fault him? How could I
Lancel's a
fault
little
him?
bit more.
Lancel's a little bitch, but that's all there is to
He
it.
is.
you know?
That's why I don't like him. It's a stupid name, as Bobby B would say.
Lancel, listen, Lancel
All
is
right.
a very secondary, annoying character to me. Bobby B is top tier fuckery. In my I hate Bobby B more.
There's
than
like Bobby B.
I take Cersei's side in that whole situation.
too.
That's how strongly I
I
feel
do
against
too.
Bobby B.
Oh, I do
So,
too. I agree with that one.
Yeah, I'm glad. I knew we would. I knew we'd
So,
find common
so we're
ground.
winding down, right?
We're talking about Varys again. Okay, so next
We're winding
week,
down, right?
next week, I want to talk about Cersei. Honestly,
Oh, we're not gonna vote.
yeah, we're gonna vote, but Cersei's
Oh.
the person I'm picking.
Oh.
we
So,
would-
question, not that I want to put you on the spot live, but
No,
if we're
no,
going to
don't.
be...
Put me on the spot after the stream.
Okay.
Okay. I already know what you're gonna ask me.
Yep, you do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm leaving it at that.
Oh my gosh. Look at the super chats that just came up.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Gosh, Wisdom Minari.
Hashtag
Whoa,
blessed.
you guys are awesome.
Woo!
What?
Okay.
Heart.
Oh my goodness. I've never seen a super
Thanks,
chat
Josh
that big.
Greek.
Me
Thank you
They got up
either.
to my
To
collar.
all 4 of y'all for another great stream. Always a highlight of my week. Sending peace, love, and positive vibes everyone's way. We love you too,
We love you
OG.
too, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Triple
our
OG
Discord
Josh in the
dude.
Discord. That's our homie. Wisdom Minari, thank you for the $100 super chat. Just because I missed the last stream, if you had a famous CEO, athlete, or government worker as a husband, would you be okay with him messing around on you with their issues with their mom and dad and siblings? I think we see him in a favorable light because Ned does.
Oh, Bobby B.
Yeah.
This is
Oh my-
I knew what he meant. I knew what you meant, Wisdom. I knew what you meant. With that said, I think that when you are like, I mean, he's asking like famous CEO, athlete, all that other stuff, government worker.
I mean,
It's
Like,
not always
as a
the option
comparison.
people it's not always the option you think it is to just divorce. You know, in those
Yeah.
situations. I mean, there are plenty of situations where people aren't famous, where it's not just like, oh, divorce. With that said, I don't like people stepping out on me. I don't share.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
share.
gonna be honest. This is just me here. If I were married to a CEO, an athlete, and if by government worker you mean somebody like on the level of like a king, like a prime minister, king, president, I would expect them to cheat on me because they're that powerful and rich, and they just don't care. Like most people in those positions, they really do not care. They're just really selfish and narcissistic people. So they're gonna do what they want, and you just gotta put up with it,
So
essentially.
this is where we get philosophical. Like,
And that's if you want to be with those type of people.
Yeah.
If
If you want to
okay,
be with
okay.
If you don't want to be with somebody and then that type of a position of power, because you don't want to be cheated on, don't date somebody in a position of power. Because Beyonce got cheated on by Jay-Z, so like it can happen to anybody,
So
guys.
I think he's trying to draw a real world parallel to how Cersei feels. Cersei didn't have a choice
she feels
as much as she did.
entitled.
True.
But she should have known better, especially in that day and age. It's like it's very common, especially like if you're growing up thinking you're going to be a queen one day or married to a prince, you should have already had that expectation that he's going to step out on you. It's like very common
Honestly,
for
as much
kings
as
to
I
have
thought
multiple
that
lovers.
Catelyn, yep. Honestly, as much as I thought that Catelyn was awful to Jon, I think that she had, given that time period, other than what she said to Jon about, I wish it was you that fell, I think Catelyn probably had the healthiest outlook given that time period and the circumstances. Like, okay, he's a lord. Lords are going to cheat. I just don't want your bastards in my face. I just don't want the infidelities in my face. I kind of expect this. With that said, I mean, me personally, I don't I don't share.
Yeah,
Not in that context.
Yeah.
So,
but
So I
Cersei's
just would
sleeping with
divorce him.
Jaime. Like, I'm sorry, I saw it. Cersei's sleeping with Jaime. So, like, who is she to
didn't hear
talk?
anything you said. It must have been delay on my end.
Oh, Cersei was
Cersei
sleeping
was-
with Jaime.
Yeah, sleeping with Jaime.
So, who is she to complain? Like, you're also stepping out.
Yeah.
Okay, so all I'm getting out of that is boop bop boop beep.
Oh,
She said Cersei is fucking Jamie. So who the hell is she to talk?
Her camera froze.
yeah.
Oh,
Boo boo beep bop bop.
can you hear us yet?
She said Cersei was fucking on Jaime. So who is she to talk?
What's going on?
It's cool. Let's move on. Moving on.
Okay.
So we have
Thanks,
another
David
super
J.
chat from David J. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much, David J. So something is wrong with Alicia's equipment, but we're going to, this is the time where we vote for who we are going to do next week. I really want to do Cersei. I really want to do Cersei. Me and Alicia did a podcast episode on Cersei like a year ago, and I wanted to release it this week.
I'm gonna watch this back later.
I've been
Like, shit's been
dying
happening
for this
in my-
recording too.
Shit's been
That's
happening
okay.
in my life.
I'm gonna watch this back on YouTube and I'm gonna catch everything y'all are saying apparently, but I swear all I hear is boop, bubble beep.
We sound like fucking what's that Star Wars?
R2D2.
We sound like R2D2 to her right now. So if you want us to do a Cersei, put a lion and we'll do Cersei. And Ara, your pick.
Ooh,
I see
since
someone
we're talking about
looks like
Varys,
Jess.
I'm gonna say Littlefinger, and you can put a bird, I guess.
A bird.
We already talked about one scheming slime ball 1 week. Can we give
Yeah, let's make it the scheming slime ball team up. I don't know.
Nim?
No.
Okay, so what are the options?
Cersei's
Nim's
the
giving
lion.
hers.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Cersei's a lion. Littlefinger's a bird.
Okay.
You know, I
don't know why
always
I
tell
did that.
myself, I always tell myself that I'm going to plan this before we like get on air and like think about who I want to cover, and I never do. So that's exciting for me. Alicia, do you have one?
No.
Oh, see, I had another
We always
option,
do
but I'm not sure if I want to throw it
What's
out.
your other? What's your other option? That'll be Alicia.
Throw it
right?
out there.
I pitched it out last week, but the sand snakes.
I think that's gonna go in the scraps, right?
I just feel like there's so many of them with so much going on.
Can they
That
vote
it-
on
Did
scrap?
we ever do Victorion?
No.
Did we?
No, we haven't. We started
We
listening to
have
scraps
to go
episode
to.
too.
We have to go to
Listen,
Essos.
listen.
We have to finish Westeros
You
before
guys,
we can go to
you
Essos.
guys,
So
you
once we get
guys,
to Essos-
listen. Can we invite my husband for the Victorian one? Can we invite Bridge? He doesn't have to be on camera. Can we invite Bridge for the Victorian?
he
You're
wants to
breaking the
Remember when
cardinal
we
rule of
streamed?
streaming.
Like
You
she
remember
just
when we
can't help
streamed?
herself. She cannot
She's like,
help herself.
Well, he's not here to feel the pressure. He's not here to feel the
Unprofessional.
pressure.
Unprofessional.
I just love him so much.
Everybody
on
spam
camera.
Bridge and let him know.
He doesn't have to be on camera, but do you remember when he was like, Victorian is a hopeless romantic? And I was
He's
like,
in
oh
love
my
with the
God.
dusky woman.
Yeah, let's.
Something
I
about the
want
way
to
he
invite
wants to
Bridge.
kill her.
I want to invite Bridge so bad. He doesn't have to be on camera.
No, if he wants to come, he's Bridgefort's always welcome on the.
Okay,
Great
I
Area,
only did
always.
that 'cause
So
he's not
yeah, everybody in the
actually here. He's
chat
not-
put peer pressure on him to join us for Victorion.
Don't do that to him. Don't do that.
Do
Don't
it.
that.
Do it. No, I'm just kidding.
We have another
Oh.
super chat from Micah McFadden, and me and Micah just did the Eddard chapter together on Obsidian Nights. And thank you for the super chat, and he says, missed most of this episode, but I like the new time and day. I love the new time and day, actually. So
Me
I hope
too.
you guys are liking that it's earlier. I hope you're being able to catch it so it's not as late and it's not on Friday.
Yeah, somebody
Guys,
asked that
did you
earlier. We
notice
do
I
like
have not
Sundays.
yawned? I have not yawned once during this stream.
Surprise.
So,
So-
you see how it's working out.
So Cersei, lions, Littlefinger, birds, sand snakes, snakes.
Actually, can I renege the sand snakes and can we just make it scraps? Because I feel like there was a whole chunk of scraps we have ignored.
We have a lot.
Yes.
Can we
scraps.
just make
There's a lot of
scraps an
scraps to go
option
back
to
to.
vote? Have we
Yeah.
ever done scraps? We've never done a
We
scraps.
did.
Yeah, we did.
We did one.
We did one.
We did the
Northern
northern
scrap.
scraps.
You
But
were
we're
at
still
work.
So if you
there.
want scraps,
You were
put
at
a
work.
trash can.
Okay.
Oh, I like that. So the scraps would be the Riverland scraps.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that'd be like-
the Hound,
Edmure,
Edmure,
No wonder I missed that one.
Beefit,
the
Blackfish.
Blackfish,
I do that all the time.
Jeff as well. Jeff as well.
Jeff,
Ghost of High Heart. She's in the Riverlands.
Brotherhood Without Banners.
Brotherhood Without Banners.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So trash can will be the Riverland scraps.
Trash
Lion will be Cersei.
It looked
Yeah,
honestly.
and
I
a
think
bird
she's
for
already won by a
Littlefinger.
landslide.
And a bird for Littlefinger.
I think Cersei's already won by a landslide, but we'll give them time.
Oh,
With
man.
that said,
I'm dying.
as soon as we go off air, MJ, we have so many things to discuss.
I was gonna say Alan
Hold
Thompson
on,
in
let
the
me look at
chat.
the camera.
Can I just say this real quick? Fuck the scraps. The Hound, probably. Yeah, I think he'd say
Yeah.
that too.
He would.
So I'm seeing
no.
a lot of people saying like Mel and Stannis. We've already covered them, and you can go back and watch our previous streams on Grace Channel.
Yeah, it's all on one playlist, and we did Mel like the second or third episode.
Yeah, we did Stannis pretty early on too, so you can go back and watch those in the Direwolf City folder on Grace Channel.
Stannis one was a time. It's split into two.
So, sorry, my friend is
See,
watching.
eventful.
He just texted me. My friend is watching. He just texted me and asked if I was drinking beer through a straw. Yes.
I told her to do that.
She's a classy bitch.
See, I just want to say, Edric Storm. Yeah, we should vote for Littlefinger after Varys. You are absolutely right.
I love
Well,
how Ara's
whoever-
always like, haha, business.
Yeah, she does.
It's your
She gets us-
Aquarius
She gets us in
placement.
check.
It
But
is.
that's wild. Anyways,
Ooh.
That's crazy. Anyway, Littlefinger should be next
Guys,
week.
so- do you remember when we streamed without her and shit went so off the fucking reservation?
Yes.
bad.
Did I tell you I was
Sorry,
in the
no,
car?
bad-
I'm like,
sorry.
what are they talking about?
Listen, I almost said something very
Loved
offensive
it.
and I caught myself, so I'm sorry. Bad analogy. Things went off the fucking chain without Ara. Absolutely. I kind of loved it, but at the same time, Ara, we need you in our life. We need you.
Wisdom Minari said his name is Lord Baelish. It's not
Oh.
Lord.
His name
Whatevs.
is Fuckface McGee. Get out of here.
Seems creep.
Jesus.
All
I just want
right,
to slander him. That's all.
Cersei Lion, Littlefinger Bird, and Trash Can for the scraps. Or you could just type scraps because I saw people said they can't find a trash can.
Or a
Micah-
bucket. I
Micah
saw somebody with a
McFadden-
bucket.
Micah McFadden said Sagittarius class and Ratchet all in one. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to end this stream here. Thank you so much for all the support you've shown tonight on this stream. And thank you for coming every week. Thank you for the moderators for holding it down and moderating the chat, even though all you guys always act like you got sense anyway. So we love you for that. And we will see you next Sunday with whoever wins this vote. All right, guys, have a good week. Bye.
Bye.
Love you so much.
Love you.